Welcome back, everybody. We are here at the 2020 LCK. It is me, Valdez, with LS, a.k.a. Lost Soul. Have you found it?
Valdez, I sense I sense that you are straying further from the light. Okay, it's all right. You know, the light doesn't reach silver, Valdez. All right, calm down.
It's very dark down here. I can't see anything. That's probably why I lose. Probably would help if I had a little bit of some sight from, well, your lost sight, so I can't get it from you. But we do have a game, League of Legends, that is going to be played and broadcasted here, and we're going to talk about it. It is going to be Afreeca versus DAMWON. We've already done 2 series today. Man, these 3 series days are pretty long. But I feel like once we go back to the normal, 2 series a day, I feel like that's going to feel short compared to what we're doing now.
Yeah, I think that those days are going to feel so short. And we return to them actually next week, I believe. Right?
Yeah, that is right.
I do check
next week,
the schedule. And then there's one
Wednesday.
more 3-day week. Or there's one more 3-day day, which is actually April 15th. Is that a Wednesday? That is a Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
What? Valdez, what?
What? I just get to watch a lot of League of Legends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Points of the match, postseason competition between the 6-win, 7-loss teams. Winner will hop on to the 5th, and loser will fall to 6th. So what we were talking about at the end of last series between the West and the East battle. Afreeca hasn't found any victory in round 2. Which players will Afreeca field to save them from this crisis? Ghost, we can make it to the finals if we get 11 wins in a row. Can DAMWON Gaming make Ghost's dream come true? That is going to be a really... That's going to be a bit of a road. That's going to be very difficult for DAMWON. As unexpected slump, Keen, the best top in LCK, is falling down. Time to redeem himself against Nuggery. Now, this is a matchup that if you told me about it a couple of months ago, I would have been very excited. And it's not that I'm not excited about it now, it's that these teams are really struggling to find their stride. Nuggery, I believe, is first in the league for isolated deaths. So whenever he dies by himself, basically. He definitely has been having a bit of an off performance here in Spring 2020. As we take a look at some of the team stats, both teams, on average, are down at 10 minutes in terms of gold. Team gold difference, however, at 20. DAMWON is 3rd in the league, so they do manage to pick it back up. And then team gold difference at 30. DAMWON do continue to accelerate, as it does seem like Afreeca continues to fall down. Now, both of these teams are sort of 2-man armies in the sense that it's Keen and Mystic, usually for Afreeca, that a lot of attention is on in terms of who's going to carry versus Showmaker and Nuggery. So, lineup for Afreeca here today: Keen, Dreadfly, Double S, and Jelly.
Okay. So it was talking about which lineup are they going to go for to get them out of this crisis. Fly, I remember last week he had this series where he played Pantheon against Azir and he got absolutely pummeled. Hasn't really looked like himself. He's really been up and down, and right now it feels like he's on the downward swing. We'll have to see if he can pick that up a little bit. As on the other side, you'll notice that Ghost has had a starting post here for a bit and is trying to help carry this team into playoffs at least and go from there. But definitely don't, this is also a team that started off extremely slow and didn't really look like their former selves from 2019.
Well, they have been struggling a lot in Spring 2020. Finally did make the change in the bot lane, having Ghost come in as an AD carry. And I know a lot of people do think that he is a slightly better player than Nuclear, and so it should, in theory, be able to help DAMWON out, as well as even help out with some of the champ pool issues that they were having down in bot lane. Obviously, some of Ghost's unique picks have not come out yet, most notably the Draven. As key player matchup, Nuguri versus Keen up here in the top lane. KDA, Keen is 1.5.
Yeah, and you'll notice that he's dying a lot more than he's actually getting kills here, which is not the same for his opponents on the opposite side. Of course, this is only for round 2. This is not like the entirety of 2020 Spring LCK. So it's more of like a recent look at where these players are at. So you'll notice on the side of Nuguri, even though his KDA isn't that impressive, everything else in terms of stats that we do have coming out here is first. But take a look at the bottom. Isolated deaths. 15 in round 2.
15 out of 30. 50% of his deaths are isolated. So
yeah.
Nuguri is, I think he's on the lone ship. I think he's the lone survivor in most of those cases, or he's off split pushing. As DAMWON, they're going to open this with a set ban, Afreeca, with the LeBlanc. And now Trundle bites the dust. And honestly, Trundle, the splash art, it really does bother me, okay? The dental hygiene there, it's not doing it for me.
Yeah, I would get that checked out. Take a bit of advice from your fellow caster here. I had to get braces for 2 years on cast. It's worth it.
Really is.
I hope that Trundle listens. Hope he's listening. But yeah, we do have him banned. The Elise is also taken off the table here, so none of that early game power from Dread.
Senna is going to be banned away now by Afreeca. Will Kalista or Aphelios end up biting the dust? This is very surprising to see them both getting through.
Can we just have a Charles game?
You know what?
Did they not
Showmaker?
ban? Wait, it's showing... I'm a little bit confused. Okay, there we go.
Sorry. So it was the Targ ban away, and they do that to try to mitigate Kalista power in the event that Kalista would be picked up first by Afreeca, but it is going to be the Aphelios, and Double S is going to be the one piloting it.
Yeah, no Mystic today.
Varus and Thresh now. Locked in for DAMWON. So they're just showing their bot lane face up. And Afreeca, okay, picking Lee Sin. I really thought that we had seen the last of Lee Sin.
Yeah, he wasn't watching the last series, I don't think.
Yeah. I'm not sure if he got the memo there. Syndra coming in. Both of these drafts so far are very standard. They're just basically picking power picks without any regard to their own composition or their opponent. So Syndra coming in super early. We'll see if Showmaker wants to counter it with something, or if he'll just handshake it and we'll get a gentleman's agreement in mid lane. I don't think we'll see a Charles pick. Valdez. I do not think that Cho'Gath is
about that.
on the menu here. As Rek'Sai is picked up for DAMWON.
You notice that on the side of Afreeca, they have Lee Sin and Syndra. There's a lot of Sin on their side. Thankfully, Elise was banned.
A lot of sinners on the side of Afreeca.
Yeah, I don't know. They're going to have to do something to fix that. Blitzcrank taken off the table.
Blitzcrank being banned away, and maybe they'll continue to try to protect Thresh down in bot lane. Perhaps banning away Morgana or something like that, away from Afreeca, being able to pick that up. I can't imagine that Afreeca would want the Morgana, though, because then it's incentivizing Merc Treads potentially with the Syndra in mid lane as well. Things could get a little bit weird as, okay, they're going to ban away the Rumble instead, and we do know that the Rumble is able to go bot lane and be the support. Afreeca were the first team to actually popularize that. Afreeca's final ban, let's see what it is going to be, will be the Azir. So, trying to just pinch Showmaker. Will we get something like the Akali? Or maybe even Ornn could actually come out here. Ornn is fine against Syndra as long as he gets through the early laning phase.
We really haven't seen much
Echo,
though, which is kind of, you know, surprising that he's fallen so fast so far. He's fallen through multiple drafts even today. And yeah, the Echo comes in here. It is going to be obviously good into the lane matchup. Kind of questioning whether, you know, Showmaker can actually make this work in the greater span of the game. A lot of the games we've been having haven't had too much action or, you know, opportunity for assassins to really get much value. So, interesting pick there.
Nautilus picked up now by Afreeca down in bot lane. And let's see what Afreeca's final pick is going to be. It's going to have to be a blind pick up in top lane. So we'll have to see what Keen is looking for. Jason, Lucian both being hovered. And it's going to be the Lucian that does get locked in. So if there were time for an Ornn pick, it would be really good right now. Not only just against the Aphelios, very good at disrupting Syndra, powerful at influencing even Nautilus in the later stages of the game, and would have so much value out of armor stacking against the Lee Sin and the Lucian, and okay, he's here.
There we go. Finally, we're saved.
We are purified.
Yeah.
As Ornn, I mean, he might look like his splash art is Darth Sidious, but...
No. Don't judge a book by its cover. He's like Grandfather Time. Except when it comes to, you know, purifying sinners.
He's like him. Time Wizard from you. Do you ever play that? No, you never play. Okay, whatever. Valdez, you are the most deprived childhood professional caster.
I played Time Crisis 2.
No, Time Wizard from Yu-Gi-Oh! Whatever. Valdez. DAMWON.
Yu-Gi-Oh? No, I played Pokemon.
They last picked the Ornn. They have so much more scaling inside of their team composition. They have arguably a counter pick in mid lane. I know that some people do not feel as though Syndra is threatened by the Echo, but many people do feel very comfortable about the Echo into the Syndra. There is so much slipperiness as well on the side of DAMWON's team composition with the Thresh, the Echo, and the Rek'Sai. So much raw engage power as well. Via the Ornn, you have the ornaments that can come in the later stages of the game. Not sure if this is going to be Comet Varus, or if we will just have on hit. I think on hit does make more sense since there's a lot of close quarter combat on the side of Afreeca. I feel like this is a very, very big draft win for DAMWON.
Yeah, does feel that way, but we'll have to see how it does go on the Rift as Afreeca up against DAMWON is going to be the paused game that starts here. Match 69, game number 1. As we did get a little bit of a spoiler there, as Hail of Blades was picked up by good old Echo. And there you go. That's it. We start off with a pause. You know, I think they felt bad about taking away our time in the last game. So they wanted to give us a little bit more time to get back to the Forbidden Love podcast.
Welcome to Forbidden Love.
Wow.
Yeah. Welcome back. And last time, before they rudely interrupted us with a T1 game, I do believe that what were we talking about actually?
The ice. No.
We finished the ice cream. Yeah. You know, the new the new Pokemon expansion packs come out soon for Sword and Shield.
Yeah. Are you gonna play that?
Of course. I had some of the most fun I've ever had playing Pokemon Shield in November and December.
Wow.
So I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to streaming it. I think it's very casual.
You're gonna stream it, really?
Yeah, it's a way to hang out with Twitch chat, Valdez.
Oh, joy.
You gotta appreciate your chat. You're trying to become a streamer, okay?
True. I am streaming recently.
All right.
Yeah.
How's that going? You playing
It's been
LOL?
fun. Yeah, playing a lot of LOL. I'm leveling up my actual account, not like a Riot account, and it's been fun. We're hanging out in silver right now. That's where we placed. So, slowly climbing. Been playing a lot of Charles.
Okay.
Charles is very fun.
Yes.
Charles and Zillion. You play any Zillion?
Glacial Zillion?
Yeah.
I do not.
What? Why not? Okay. I guess maybe that's not your type. It's not your thing.
Well, not my cup of tea.
Okay.
Not in solo queue. As this game starting off, Double S match 11 versus APK was game 2. That was a loss. This is when that was when Aphelios was even more busted than he is now.
Yeah.
So that was the last time that Double S was in the LCK. And it looks like Afreeca wanting to start things off with an invade. Now, DAMWON knows all about this. Beryl is here as well. It seems like both of these teams had an idea of what was going to be happening here. As it might just come down to a smite fight. Nuguri might flash the wall, and E...
There it is. He is going to knock up the Syndra into the hook. Showmaker from behind, but the instant exhaust is going to help out big time. The smite just to stay alive as Jelly goes a little bit too far, and Nuguri's still alive, but is finally going to go down as Canyon makes his way out. That's 2 kills now for Afreeca, as Beryl pretty healthy here. He's going to be able to scan out this ward, and actually the red buff took a lot of damage in the fight.
Oh.
So Dread trying to get on this. He doesn't have a smite, is able to smite it with his Q, essentially. Executed, I should say, as that fight is going to go the way of Afreeca.
Okay, so now, at the end of this all, it was First Blood and First Blood assists going over to DAMWON, I believe, so that actually helps mitigate the 2-for-1. And then on top of that, Ornn and Echo both have teleport available, and so Echo teleports back into mid lane, and Fly, he had to burn through both of his summoners during that fight, as did Showmaker. However, he doesn't have a teleport, so he has to sustain through the laning phase now against this Echo, who just crashed in the wave. Fly actually just now getting back into mid lane. Showmaker, level 3 roam top.
Oh, the stun right on the corner, and he had no hope of getting out of there. Had flash, but, you know, it's not like he was going to flash upwards, so really nicely placed spear there is able to land the stun, and Showmaker is already on the map.
And things are starting off really good for DAMWON here. Even though the Rek'Sai is behind in control, this Echo also, because he was the one with the First Blood, he got the Dark Seal. So, able to have that helping out his Corrupting Potion. And with that little bit of extra AP, it really does help, especially if he can get another couple of kills under his belt. It's a lot of extra AP that he wouldn't have otherwise had inside of this game. And it's not going to be too long until Echo's just at the QQ point inside of the lane, where he starts making Fly go QQ. Maker trying to jump around a little bit.
Yeah. What do you think about this Echo skin? I think this is the best Echo skin. What do you think?
I'm not so sure. Why do you ask, Valdez? Tell me, what about its appearance fancies?
It kind of looks like, did you ever watch that anime Psycho-Pass?
What?
Okay. I'll take that as a no. But yeah, I mean, it just looks really cool. I'll say that. It looks like a cool skin. And I'm happy you brought it out here. So it's good. You don't seem to you don't seem to have an opinion on Echo skins.
I think that his base skin is actually my favorite for Echo.
Really?
Yeah, I think the base skin is really, really good.
Are you trying to emulate Baker?
No. I normally actually
Wait,
do
why
like
not?
skins, but
Yeah, okay.
the base skin on Echo I do think is really good. Now, I want to point out something. Nuguri is maxing Q here in this matchup against Lucian. Obviously, some Ornn players do max different skills, but the reason that he's maxing Q is because that's basically his ranged ability against the ranged enemy top laner. Now, Nuguri is building, however, super greedy. He builds the Bomby Cinder. Valdez, he can never use the Bomby Cinder in this lane until way later on. So, all that it ends up doing is it gives you a little bit of extra HP from the Ruby Crystal. But had you built 2 Ruby Crystals, you get more HP. Alternatively, if you build the Bramble Vest, Lucian just can't play the lane. He can't sustain, he can't auto-attack you to poke or anything. He ends up losing so much value, and then you can actually trade back against him. Now, DAMWON taking this Mountain Dragon, and this is a really big pickup early on, especially for that Ornn against that Lucian, and even for the Echo against the Syndra.
We do have a fight up here on the top side. He is going to flash the goat there, and he picks up level 6, so he's actually going deep as the Ignite is going to come out. Bakeen does have the double tap and will go down, as he might have survived if he actually just ran away instead of autoing. But either way, is going to get the first kill, deny a tiny amount of XP underneath that turret. And
it's still
there you
overall a win for Nuguri because he's going to be the one that now has his flash up and available. And whenever you're trading against the enemy laner that scales better than you, it's always going to favor them. So yes, the Lucian does have a call. Yes, he does pick up a kill and deny a little bit of XP like what you were talking about, but still, this is just really good for Ornn. Take a look at Showmaker here in mid lane. He's about 7.2 or so, maybe 7.3 in terms of
Level,
XP.
right?
Yeah, as Fly cleared out that entire wave, still stuck on level 6. And so there is a bit of an XP gap currently in the mid lane. Oh no, Fly did end up getting 7. He picked it up. He just picked it up. So he's behind about 1/3 of a level in mid.
bit of a trade down here. Barrel's getting a bit low. And we all know Felios has taken a bit of damage. But he's got that Infernum, I believe it is, the AoE, where they're supposedly fireballs, but they kind of look like snowballs to me. I don't know if I was the only one who thought that way, but when I first saw the skin, or the champion, but yeah, just easily able to push that one back with its AoE. We take a look at some of the win rates here. Obviously, for a middle-of-the-pack team, they're going to have middle-of-the-pack win rates for the majority of their champions. As you can see here, that's just about what we expected. As on the other side, a little bit better for DAMWON. They're going for the Rift Herald, so they're doing this play where they do rotate up. And Afreeca is actually going to respond. They're not going to take the free XP or push in the bottom side. They try to respond here, and they are not able to get there on time.
Yeah, and basically what is happening here is DAMWON, even though the gold score is very even, remember, their obligation to get ahead early, there is none. It's supposed to be Afreeca favored early. Syndra should have more CS, or she should have more ability, but obviously the level 1 threw a bit of a wrench into that for the mid lane component anyway. And top lane, it's assumed that the Lucian does get early CS advantages and maybe even plates against Ornn. But once Ornn would start getting the armor items, start getting the Bramble Vest, or getting closer to the Sunfire Cape, the matchup just really swings and it goes back into Ornn favor. Ornn should be able to win outright around the level 5 to 6 mark if he's building correctly, but Nuguri did build Bombies first. And so that did stunt him ever so slightly in the lane. It will mean that he does complete the Sunfire Cape a little bit faster. Syndra does have Lost Chapter Sword Pen Boots. And Cloud Dragon coming up in a minute and a half, which does mean that we are going to get an exciting dragon this game.
Yeah, how about an Infernal? We haven't had that yet, the Infernal Soul today. I feel like that would be nice to mix things up. And I feel like it would be really good for both sides, actually, if either of them could actually pick up that soul. Dread gonna be spotted with the plant, so that's always the most awkward feel when you're trying to be sneaky and then they just reveal you on the map. But yeah, trying to set up a play here, it looks like, before potentially going into that Cloud Drake is Dread. He's level 6, he's got his flash and kick. Really just trying to make waves and be as aggressive on the map with the Lee Sin at his most strong point in the game as possible.
And everything else is going pretty standard. And, you know, we didn't talk about this I didn't talk about this, is Ghost is actually going for the lethality, and I really like that as a decision, because it means that his long-range arrows are just able to sort of create freedom for Echo and Ornn when they do end up going for the hard engage at the Syndra and the Lucian. Sort of provides them cover. Showmaker taking a bit of a heavy trade here, so it's going to be boosted swiftness as well as Umbral Glaive completed. First item on the Varus. This is mostly done to control vision around the right-hand side river, as well as even inside of the laning phase. Afreeca looking keen on trying to start up this Cloud Dragon, but Nagari rotating down, and they don't seem to really respect the fact that Ornn can come down. Never mind, they are backing off now. Syndra crashed underneath their turret. Echo always able to get priority at this point. Very obnoxious to play against. As Canyon's just going to pick that up, and will it be Infernal? No. Of course, Valdez. Thanks a lot.
Just Ocean. Hey, Ocean Drake is cool. He's got a cool song.
Okay, what's the song?
You never heard Ocean Man? It's just Ocean Drake now. As Fly. Ooh, that's a big trade out of Showmaker. You mentioned the Dark Seal. He's so far ahead, it feels like, in this lane. Dread trying to punish him, but is not really going to be able to do much. Rift Herald also comes down here for DAMWON. They're able to get a huge chunk onto that turret already. It's so low. They would be able to pick up all the plates down there, not to mention the ones they picked up here in mid. So things, you talked about the mitigation of the early kills, even though it went Afreeca's way in terms of numbers. They're able to really turn this game around into their favor big time.
Yeah. DAMWON is really, really, really far ahead right now. It's only a 1,500 gold lead, but remember, that Mountain Dragon is actually going to be really effective on several of these champions later. Echo is going to get his Hourglass, and DAMWON are coasting towards a extremely early Ocean Soul. The Ornn is just going to be so valuable. The ornaments, you're going to have Obsidian Cleaver, most likely on the Rek'Sai. I think this is even actually a game where we could see the variation on Ornn, where he could pick up Frozen Heart instead of just going for Abyssal Mask. Yes, he won't get the 2 ornament upgrades right away, but it would create a much more obnoxious mid into late transition where it can really act to stifle the Lee Sin, Lucian, and Aphelios even further, especially because he will be hugging with Echo, although obviously on the flip side, you go Abyssal Mask, you do increase Echo's damage as well as your own, and then you'll have Yumu's Wraithblade on the Varus in the later stages, just giving him that extra little bit of lethality.
Yeah, he's going to be doing just fine. Just farming up, getting those lethality items. And as you mentioned, Ornn pretty good for scaling with your composition, as Thresh should just die here. That was a really, like, he was somehow able to make that hook a bit thinner than we normally expect it to be. Was just able to find Beryl there on the side. They're able to kick him back and pick up a cheeky kill. Not really much else to get here. Actually, as I say that, they're going for Shirley. As of course, Shelly was taken much earlier and used down in the bottom side. So able to get some kind of objective after the kill is always ideal.
Afreeca will pick that up. There's no turret plates obviously remaining, although the mid-tier 1 turret for DAMWON is super healthy. So utilizing that to help try to break it is going to be valuable. Replay coming in here. Dread and Jelly looking for the combo onto Barrel. They do manage to get it, so nice little pickup for them right there in the replay. Luden's Echo almost complete. Looks like it's going to be Lichbane second, so Showmaker not valuing the utility of the Zhonya's Hourglass inside of the team fight, and instead just actually opting for raw damage and perhaps even split push potency. So Ghost and Barrel totally fine up here. SS and Jelly looking to make a play here and then immediately maybe use Rip Herald. So Ghost and Barrel, they could have just froze that cannon wave.
Nah, what?
You know, they got a hot date. They got somewhere to be right now. They're going out to K-BBQ after. Okay, that is...
I mean, if they are, then all the power to them. It's very delicious. I do not blame them. Although,
Valdez, you had an Oreo milkshake in the break.
Hey, that was supposed to be a secret. Secret milkshake that I'm drinking during the cast.
Nothing's a secret here on Forbidden Love. The other LCK podcast.
That sounds perfectly fine and innocent. But yeah, it's since you asked, it's very delicious. I'm enjoying it a lot during this game. It's improving the game for sure. As Warren, of course, is a tank assassin. For you guys who did not know, does a lot of damage. What?
You said tank assassin.
Yeah, he's a tank assassin.
Please continue.
Yeah, he assassinates people
Valdez.
because his damage is so high.
Tank, assassin, mage, enchanter, support, bruiser, marksman, paladin, death knight, lord, and I can't think of other titles.
Archmage.
Archmage, indeed. Yes, go ahead.
Wizard.
I mean,
Why not?
he does. Why not? You know?
Yeah, he's pretty much got everything under control. That is Ornn. You can see how big of a case Afreeca is making to get this Drake. They would love to start stacking the Ocean Drakes and potentially take it, as well as taking it away from DAMWON here. Setting up the turret. See those shurikens flying. And this there on the few, but they're looking to shut down Showmaker, who does have to flash away. Nice lantern to group him up with the team, as that Void Taker's going to show exactly where Rek'Sai is. A little bit awkward for him. As here comes the Ornn Horn getting on in there, a 3-man knockup into the Nautilus knockup, but man, stopwatch is such a good item. It's not going to be enough, though, to save him as he takes an arrow to the face. Oh man, Keen is even burning down there on the backside. He is going to survive. Lots of low members on the side as the smite is going to go the way of Dread. So one thing is going to save Afreeca there. At least they pick up the Drake, but they didn't get much else.
Well, okay, so Afreeca, they picked up the Ocean Dragon, and it's not really a pickup for themselves, it's more so to deny it from DAMWON. But in doing so, they lost a couple of their members, and we'll just take a look at this one more time. Just watch Ghost in this team fight with his arrows. I understand you didn't watch Lord of the Rings, Valdez, but it does look quite reminiscent as...
What do you mean? I did watch Lord of the Rings.
All right. Sure you did. As the Ocean Dragon continued to just be captured here by Dread. It was a nice stun out of fly. Showmaker unable to close the distance, and then immediately they do end up collapsing onto Dread, killing him. So, in the current game state, DAMWON are ahead 2,000 gold. Sunfire and Abyssal have both been completed by Nuggery. So as soon as he dings 13, he is going to get so many free stats, it is completely unholy. And Keen trying to tickle him.
Yeah, did a decent job, but Ornn's been through this before. I mean, he is eternal, so it's not like you're... I mean, he's been through the gauntlet many times, knows exactly what to do. Dread, not sure about that one. didn't have any vision in there, just decides, hey, I really want to attack Bergen with the right side prong. And, yeah, had to flash away. So a little bit of a whoopsie there. As Showmaker really is putting on the pressure with the Echo. You see that Fly is even struggling to get near him. This is the second time this has happened. Finally, Beryl, this time at least, is going to flash out of the kick. But Beryl is just getting hooked over and over by Jelly in this game.
Well, Showmaker is gonna raise the top tier 1 turret. And they almost have a 3,000 gold lead here at 20 minutes. Nuguri is 13. I imagine that the first ornament upgrade that's going to end up being gifted probably will be the Yumu Wraithblade for Ghost, so it'll give him a little bit more power in his punch for his arrows. Showmaker probably going to have to wait until he gets to Zanya's Hourglass to get an ornament upgrade, and then Obsidian Cleaver. So most likely going to go Wraithblade into Cleaver into Zanya's, into Thresh is not going to probably get an ornament upgrade, and that's totally fine. 2 minutes until the next Ocean Dragon coming up. Not really much that can occur on the map. Probably just going to go into the lull state and play ping pong.
Oh, my favorite.
I know it is. your favorite and mine.
Yeah, back to ping pong. I'm so glad we made it back. And Fly has been struggling a little bit with hitting the ball back and playing this ping pong. He gets a little bit of help from his friends, so that is going to help him here. Keen trying to do damage to Nuguri. Hornhorn is going to come out, easily dashed away from, but Keen decides he is going to disengage, as I suppose he was a little bit scared of someone out on the map, perhaps a Rek'Sai looking to collapse.
And Afreeca, they're just trying to get something done on the map. They're raising top tier 1. The real problem is that this Lucian can't move the Ornn anymore in the side lane. And soon enough, it's going to just be Nuguri taking the fights back at him. Exhaust comes out. He doesn't have his ultimate, though. Keen will give up the pursuit. And it's only a matter of time until he does hit 14. So 50 seconds until the Ocean Dragon. That's going to be where we get our next team fight. Don't expect anything until that does end up coming up. Ghost does take a turret shot, but fine. He does have 3 corrupting potions.
Yeah, he's doing fine. Stacked up an unhealthy amount of Dirks right now in his inventory with all the items that he has picked up. And the lethality is it's doing a number. If he can continue to land those arrows over and over, he can really zone out Afreeca before the fight even begins. As you can see, Dread doesn't seem phased by it, just takes it to the face. Says thank you very much. 9 seconds until this Drake is going to spawn, as DAMWON looking to take an angle here, potentially to start a fight. Got Echo down in the bottom side. Is going to take the long way around to try to flank here. As actually, it is going to land onto Dread in the backside, but now Beryl in an awkward spot. The knock-up here is going to help him out, but he will go down eventually. Where is the follow-up from DWG? This is a very messy fight, as Down will go the Lee Sin, but only the Lee Sin, as everybody else on the side of DWG is just being scrambled like a bunch of eggs. Down go 3 of them, and the other 2 were kind of just left sitting there with their, sitting on their hands, not able to do much at all in that fight. Very messy overall.
Yeah, extremely messy by DAMWON posturing prior to this Ocean Dragon, especially because it's so crucial for them to actually keep getting these dragons to bring the game closer and closer to Soul Point. And very uncharacteristic flopping here in the mid game. As Afreeca, I mean, they were managing to do this against APK, if you do recall, as things were a little bit chaotic, but they had such a mountain to climb in that series. Now, obviously here, why is Beryl in the location that he is? The arrow come through, didn't quite kill Dread, and that actually made it so that Canyon had to use the Rek'Sai ultimate, and in doing so was lit up by Double S. Showmaker and Nuggery just not able to join the fray. And so as it comes back into live, Ocean Dragon 4 minutes again away. Morello picked up by Fly, even though there's going to be a massive amount of downtime now. And Showmaker finally starting to move towards the Zanya's Hourglass. Yumu's Wraithblade was built by Nuggery for Ghost. And here's for an ultimate.
Okay, they're really trying to go for the 5-on-5 this time around. Well, they were considering it. Maybe just a zoning move, but actually, no. Showmaker into the backline is going to just blow up 2. Just like that with the help of a piercing arrow from downtown from Ghost. And with that, just a couple of kills. They will set their sights on the Baron here. We do have Syndra in a pretty awkward spot up there, all by her lonesome. Perhaps she can stack the orbs here and try to get some damage done to a jungler or something, as they are going to slowly collapse. 3-on-5. They get the hook here onto one of the members. The Baron getting low. Is the smite going to be good? It is going to go the way of Canyon, but it wasn't exactly clean. As down will go the one. Nice try with the flash hook. Not going to land, though. He does land that exhaust. As in goes Showmaker again. He's going to find another player, as he is actually going to go back into his ultimate, not confidently moving forward, as Keen did still have mana and Lee Sin did respawn. So they take the Baron and they'll move on with just that.
So that was a close encounter, obviously, at the Baron. Syndra did almost go down. It all started up here, where the Ornn ultimate hits, and then they didn't anticipate Showmaker coming in like this. They got the cleanse out of the Aphelios. He doesn't flash. Jelly takes the Blast Cone, goes over onto the right-hand side, and then watch the follow-up here. Beryl just narrowly missed the initial hook onto Syndra behind the red buff. Afreeca goes in looking for a team fight. Nautilus gets brought down relatively easily. Flash by Beryl. Response flash by Fly. Beryl eating all of the honey fruit, and I mean, take a look at the Grievous Wounds effects right there, fellas. As Fly still trying to figure out what he could do inside of this fight, wasn't able to come up with anything, and his build continues to be stunted right now in this game, as he's been stuck on those items now for a couple of minutes. We know that he's recalled, and he's just not getting a whole lot of economy right now. Red is almost dead.
Red trying so hard to make this Lee Sin work in this game state, but they're pretty far behind. They're up against Baron. And he kind of just throws caution to the wind and says, I hope my teammates can follow up. It does not happen. Absolutely the opposite ends up happening there. So down he goes, and they're looking for more dives. Obviously, a fed Echo pretty good at setting that up with an Ornn right behind him and some extra poke with the Varus. But not going to go for any dives just yet. They still have a minute left on Baron, so they're just going to try to push in. And as I say that, they're actually all going to go for a bit of a recall. So they want to go back, buy some items, regroup, and try to get there for the Ocean Drake that's spawning in 50 seconds.
And we can just see how this all started up. Showmaker just putting a clinic on with this Echo here in this game. Magi Soul Stealer at 9 stacks right now. So even an assist will begin to grant him the passive. DAMWON, I mean, they have almost a 5,000 gold lead with in Mountain Dragon, so that is giving everyone a little bit of gold worth in terms of value also. But the ornaments are also in on everyone except for Beryl. Beryl looks like he's going for the Knight's Vow, not going to go for the Redemption. And 5 seconds until this Ocean Dragon comes up. This is not going to be a game-ending Dragon capture. It does still mean that we probably have at least another Baron that is going to end up being necessary in order to close out this game. 2-level lead in mid lane is also really problematic. That is going to stick for the foreseeable future. Everyone else pretty much even except for Beryl. 1-level lead there.
Yeah, it's crazy. We really don't see this that often where, you know, you look at the mid lane, as you were talking about, 2-level gap And you look at Syndra and you're expecting something like, you know, like 1-4 or 0-3 or something like that. But no, she's 2-0-1. She's probably the most fed on our team alongside of Lucian, I suppose. And it really just has been a lead that Showmaker has constructed pretty much by himself. The early roam, able to get some kills for his team, and he has been quite aggressive in setting up some of the plays that he has, so really got to shout him out so far in this game. As you can see, the total gold, actually the most gold is going to go over to the side of the Varus, but he is a close second.
And DAMWON, right now, they're just posturing around. 1.5 minutes until Baron comes up again. Keen might be... I was going to say, I thought he was going to be getting chased down, but apparently not. Warmogs was the third item for the Ornn. I would really like to see him pick up a Locket of the Iron Solari here, or a Redemption.
Yeah.
We don't see that so often from Ornns that are not in EU, but when you just think about it and how practical some of the items are that people build on Ornn, it doesn't really change all that much, whereas getting Solari actives on several members inside of a team fight is really changing. Or having the Knight's Vow, having a Redemption active for the heal as well as the damage can end up being really, really game-changing. As Baron's up in 30, they're just clearing out all of the vision right now. Guardian Angel going to be the next item for Rek'Sai. Not sure how far away Fly is from Rabadon's Death Cap, but I would imagine that he's still ways away. It's not like he's gotten all that much CS in the last couple of minutes.
Definitely awkward when you're ahead that you have to flash away from the engage tool on the enemy team just because you made a little bit of a funky maneuver through your tunnels there. But that did end up biting Canyon there in the behind, as he did have to flash away from that one. And you mentioned, you know, it might come down to this next dragon, but we might actually just wait until 2 minutes comes up here and the Ocean Drake actually does spawn, because it doesn't seem like either of these teams really want to make a big move at the moment. You see that DWG are just cutting down all of the vision, but they're not exactly ready to, you know, make a big play onto the Baron. They don't have, you know, auto-attacking Varus or anything like that. They have pokey, high lethality damage Varus, so their Baron take is pretty slow overall.
Yeah, it is looking like a bit of a standoff here, as maybe DAMWON does want both of the major neutrals to end up coming up, and that is a little scary because it's giving Afreeca more time to try to get to major item completions. Rabadon's is not a small item by any means for Syndra to get get inside of her inventory, as she could sell the Corrupting Potion right now and get another needlessly large rod in her inventory. And Keen is really close to his 4th crit item. And I do wonder why DAMWON is actually being as reserved as they are. It is a little bit surprising. Take a look at all their inventories, and not many items have really changed. Cloth armor upgraded, chain vest, here we go.
Okay, that's one way to poke, I suppose. Obviously the cooldown on his ultimate is quite low. If you're not experienced with Echo, you can take a look right now at his ultimate over his portrait on the right. It's already halfway back to being available. So, you know, he does a little bit of damage to Fly, just poking out a little bit. We have a little bit of the K-Ram here as the Ocean Drake is coming up, but Afreeca have position on that dragon, whereas DWG have position on the Drake. A huge amount of poking coming in there, and Keen, a little bit isolated. Showmaker is going to get his ultimate. Doesn't decide to use it, though, as now with the Ocean Drake coming up here in 5 seconds, they're absolutely considering just turning on to this one. Keen gonna come down here alone, stays out of vision, but here comes the TP. As now Echo just gonna be isolated here by Keen and going over the wall. He is gonna ultimate. Meanwhile, on the left side, DAMWON taking a big fight already, but the arrow is gonna sail wide. Definitely not Legolas that time around, as Ghost has to be landing those arrows like he does there because they just do insane damage.
All right, so Keen just got half health in one mistake. He was doing such a fantastic job.
Yeah.
At wrangling Showmaker on the right-hand side.
Or the Dragon is going to go their way as Ocean Soul comes down, and unfortunately Beryl might be the sacrifice again. Yes, he will. Poor guy has died so many times already in this game, as the looking at the Baron potentially with the Beryl kill. I'm not sure if they can exactly do that, but they might try here.
The thing is that even if they start the Baron, I think with Ocean Soul, DAMWON are still basically 7 members at this point. So what we're looking at here is a 7 versus 5.
Oh, they're trying to burst down Showmaker, but this is stopwatch. He has his ultimate again.
Oh,
the only problem is that he's right on top of himself with his clone, so he's not going to get much value out of that. A huge amount of poke damage comes out of Ghost still, though, as Lethality Varus from ahead. Pretty nice. He's having a blast. Legolas is back. This is definitely fun. If you've never played this before, I highly recommend it. For sure.
All right, so Showmaker actually flashed in place. He failed his flash over the wall, I believe. And so a bit of an uncharacteristic mechanical mess up, but it doesn't matter. Once DAMWON have a real team fight, it is just going to be so one-sided right now with the Ocean Soul. Only one member on the side of Afreeca has Grievous Wounds, and that's the Syndra. So she's probably really close to Rabadon's death cap. I believe a couple of minutes ago she was at 1,300 in her inventory. She sells the Corrupting Potion. She probably only needed a couple more waves, so she should have it here. Selling the Corrupting Pot, yes. Okay, so death cap complete for Syndra. It's a massive spike for her. And death cap is so close to being completed. On Echo.
Yeah. Still waiting on that. I mean, he's going to have pretty gigantic damage once he finishes that item.
I am so curious if Varus is going to sell his boots for another item. Probably not. Don't want to just rely on the Yumus for MF and the active.
I mean, he already does insane damage. I mean, that's Nautilus. Yes, it is support Nautilus, but just being able to do that much damage to a decently tanky guy. Imagine what he can do up against Fly, Keen. I mean, we've seen it before. I don't think he necessarily needs the extra damage, just on that note. So you see...
Oh, man.
Okay, going for the engage now, gonna deny that Ornhorn, but Jelly immediately is gonna get burst down, and down he goes. Canyon, though, being zoned out by Keen as, oh boy, the arrow takes out Syndra and nearly kills Dread on the backside. This Varus is unbelievably strong at this point in the game.
Yeah, Varus is just way too big at this point. There's no answer to him, and there's no way to get onto him. Lee Sin doesn't have a kick angle. Nautilus can't walk up. Because if Varus has flash or if Thresh is in close proximity, Thresh is always either able to save Varus or he can flash to reposition and then turn on his Legolas pants and then start taking back over the team fight. And at that point, Nautilus is going to die. So the Lucian, the Lee Sin, the Aphelios, they all have to get short range, close quarter combat. That is impossible to do against this DAMWON team composition. So barring some mouse malfunction or something, it's so hard for Afreeca to win these team fights because none of their champions can properly engage or approach. And so it would take DAMWON really just splitting up and getting sort of corralled to different areas of the screens and getting picked off one by one for them to lose at this point. Death cap finished now for Echo. I mean, Varus is doing an okay amount of damage here. Honestly, you know, I mean, it could have been, why not 31.3, you know?
I'm impressed.
I mean, hopefully next time he'll put in a little bit more practice so that he can be a little better here, but...
Yeah. I'm wondering if they win, does he pick up player of the game? Because he's like... I feel like he's having the most effect out of anyone on his team, but it's not exactly the most difficult position? That's what I'm kind of struggling with in my head right now. Does he get it? I don't know.
I would give... so currently, even still, I'm giving my MVP to Showmaker.
Yeah.
As it currently stands. He just did so much setting up the early and mid-game transitions, and he's done so much, if you remember, blowing up the Aphelios, as well as the Lee Sin behind the mid-tier 1 turret. Yeah, it's pretty fun when no one can approach you.
Yeah. No,
really
I do
nice.
agree. I think Showmaker should pick this one up if they do end up winning. And with Ocean Soul and damage like that out of your Varus, I don't know if Afreeca can do anything. I saw Fly kind of dejectedly pause for a moment. He's like, do I back now? Like, is that just what I'm forced to do? And you talked about...
Okay.
Yep, he was trying to get in range. He was just trying to get in range to possibly engage. He wasn't even able to get close. And he just immediately basically dies. Just like that.
I'll tell those I am never opposed to watching a Lee Sin get smacked around. If I'm being a little bit unbiased here. Okay.
Yeah.
Champion not really able to achieve much in most of the games that we have been seeing him. And
for the knock up into the snipe, and there it is. Just line him up and knock him down, basically. Beryl might actually die again. No, it looks like he is going to survive. In fact, as Fly in a bit of trouble is just going to get assassinated. Finally, that Rek'Sai able to follow up on one of these fights as they pick off 3. Ornn to engage, very reliable engage to hold him in place for Legolas to snipe him down from the air is exactly how this game is going to end. DAMWON should be taking it the movement speed from the TP. Coming on in, as finally that hook is going to land. They'll be able to pad their numbers a bit more, as they will take down Jelly here. They'll look for Keen. Not sure they can get it unless they want to go for the hook. He's got to stop, watch, and flash away. Denies the extra KDA, but won't deny the kill. Onto the Nexus as DAMWON will pick up game number 1.
They pick up game number 1 in a bit of a slow fashion, but the good news is that they had a much better team composition. They played towards what it was needing to achieve. They had a bit of wonkiness, though, in the mid-game. And they sort of floundered around. Afreeca, they were doing very similar things to in the APK series, where they're trying to mechanically outmuscle their opponents, but it's such a tall order because of the variables that are set up that go into these team fights, that go into these objective dances. It's really difficult for them to do anything. And MVP, for me this game, it's still going to be Showmaker. I have no doubt that we are going to get laughed at in the voting process if you vote for him as well.
Yeah, I did. And I think he still deserves it, right? Because that game wouldn't have gotten to that point without him getting the snowball going. The, what was it, level 4 gank? No, it was level 3.
Level 3. He
in the top lane.
He teleported back mid, instantly crashed the wave against Syndra, and then Syndra was forced to recall because she was down on summoners without any value. He roamed top lane, killed Keen, went back into mid, and then just put on a lane phase clinic where his turret never took any damage. You take a look even at the initial invade. Remember, he got the first blood, got the Dark Seal off the reset, and then there was the play behind the mid-tier 1 turret, if you recall, where the parallel convergence, he managed to clip double S and got the cleanse out of the Aphelios, also picking up the kill onto Dread, followed Jelly onto the Blast Cone. Jelly went left, he went back down south, and then they eventually proceeded to the Baron, won that fight, reset. Things got a little bit weird. The only thing that prevented Showmaker from popping off of one of the Dragon fights was actually Keen, looking for him in anticipation for the flanking teleport, and managed to stave him off. So there was some downtime on the Echo in this game, but I think overall he controlled so much in the early into mid transition to really help DAMWON stabilize.
Yeah, and I would have to agree. I think he was really the one that did. It just got them in the position to win, and That's really what you expect from a player of the game. You can see this dive, as I believe this is the one you were talking about, the parallel convergence is able to land onto the two of them in the back there. As you can see, Afreeca desperately trying to get into this fight. 3v5, but just no beans at the end. They don't chase on to get any extra kills, and then by this time, I mean, this is 4 or 5 team fights that DAMWON have won already, and that's when the virus really begins to just get stupid in this game.
Well, this was the Nautilus trying to engage, and this is what we were talking about, where he can't just do this freely. It will always cost him his life. Lee Sin could do nothing in this team composition. There was virtually nothing Dread could ever do at any point in this game, and really, all of the pressure is on Syndra, and Fly was always behind, even stagnating his build by completing the Morello from the Oblivion Orb, stunting his 3rd completion by 1,400 gold for a team that has very minimal healing. I mean, yes, Echo has his ultimate. Yes, there was Ocean Soul coming up, but remember, Afreeca managed to get 2 of the dragons that really slowed down the mid into late transition for DAMWON. So definitely was a bit peculiar. Take a look at the damage graph. As I mean, why not 46.5? Like, I really hope that Ghost reflects back on this game. He thinks about it critically, and he just tries to do a little bit better next time.
There's always room to improve, right? Next time, break the 50,000 barrier. Then maybe we'll be impressed. Ghost.
He breaks 50K, we demand 55.
Yeah, always improve. No, but, you know, there's a reason why Varus he's his presence rate is really high nowadays for just like a kind of run-of-the-mill AD carry, because he has so many modes. I mean, he can go mid, he can go bot, he can go multiple different builds that change with the way that your team composition can build around him. Definitely a great champion, and ended up helping them secure the win. So DAMWON, they pick up game number 1. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, game number 2.